let's talk about 4 ways moisture moves around. We'll just go that way. So the 4 ways they move, okay? So simple stuff, air infiltration. When we talk about air infiltration, that is just like it sounds. Air wants to infiltrate your home, and it'll come through any nook and cranny that is possible. And I've talked about big holes and little holes, so let's look at some things. So you say, well, where are these holes am I having? I don't have big holes, Dave. I got windows. It's all, no. Maybe you have holes you just don't think about. Do you have a can light up in your ceiling? Or maybe it's not a can light. Maybe it's just a ceiling fan box. Those are all holes in ceilings. Anytime we cut sheetrock out for something, it's a hole. Alrighty? It's never perfectly tight against that box that it's serving. So whether it's a can light, a ceiling fan box, a smoke detector box, a light box, maybe a surround sound system, lots of boxes and wires hanging, those are all cutouts in the sheetrock. So that's in the ceiling that communicates oftentimes with an attic, a hot, humid, moisture-laden attic. And then we have some of these things, exterior walls directly to the outside. Well, I seal all this up. Well, yes, you have wall sconces on the outside of the house as well as inside the house. You have electrical boxes in walls. You have switch boxes. You have all sorts of cutouts on the sheetrock side, and you have cutouts on the outside side as well. So air can get in and out of walls fairly freely unless you manage it. So we're going to talk about some stuff. How do we take this into account and manage air infiltration through our attics and through our walls? And we'll see some of that. So as we see some of this, again, depending on pressure, usually this stuff is going to come from outside, inside, whether it comes through walls, comes through your ceiling, air comes from all sorts of places. It's kind of interesting how it moves. What is vapor diffusion? Vapor diffusion is kind of interesting. It's not X-ray vision, but it's kind of like if I could walk through that wall over there. Could I walk through that wall? Well, some superheroes can. I've seen it in movies where they can just walk through an object. Vapor diffusion is just that. Moisture can go right through stuff. Amazing, isn't it? It can go through your brick, it can go through stone, stucco, it can go through insulation, it can go through wood, it can vapor, meaning the humidity in the air, you don't see it, but it's there. It can go and it can work. Again, it wants to go from high humidity or high moisture content to low. So it's going to go, hey, it's hot and humid out here and it's dry inside this house, so I'm going to just go through this material slowly. It is a slow process, but it can get into the house by going straight through a material. So again, whether it's an exterior wall or even the attic ceiling, all this vapor can get into the house. It's a battle with nature to control moisture. So air infiltration, it's coming in through the nooks and crannies. Then if you seal all those up, it wants to come through the solid surfaces, although it's slower than through a hole, so that's good. Now let's talk about capillary action. So moisture moves through capillary action. You've seen those paper towel commercials where, oh, it's the quicker picker upper, where yes, even if it's in just sucks stuff up, that's capillary action. So does that relate to us as home builders? If you have a slab on the ground or you have a basement, anything to do with concrete. Concrete is not watertight. It's, I say if you do a slab and you've got beams down into the ground, I call those roots because especially around the perimeter, yes, we have plastic across our slab, and we talked about that in the concrete class. But on the outside beams, oftentimes the plastic will come down and stop at the bottom of that beam, so I've got 2 or 3 feet of exposed concrete here against dirt. And dirt gets wet when it rains. Poof. Wow, dirt gets wet when it's raining. So imagine maybe you've got bad drainage on your site and water just sits there in pools. Well, water will go into your concrete, raise the moisture content of that concrete, and again, from high moisture content to low, it's going to come into the house and into the system. We have to manage that. So Now let's talk about bulk moisture. Bulk moisture is one that hopefully nobody ever has, but whether you have a roof leak, that's bulk moisture. If you have a roof leak, that's a lot of water, and it starts dripping through the ceiling and things go bad. If plumbing leaks are bad. All these are things that they're not brought about by nature necessarily, but they're things that we have to think about and manage as home builders. So four things, the four ways moisture moves through a house. Let's keep those in mind, because as we build this envelope, these are the things. Again, moisture, number one problem. That's what we're going to manage.